Welcome to Danang on Vietnam's central coast, the country's third most important city after Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh. It's a beautiful, vibrant center of commerce, education, and of course tourism, and one that if you come to Vietnam, you should not miss. I'm amazed that Danang hasn't seemed to have slowed down much despite the pandemic, with new high-rises springing up all over the place, especially on the side of town closest to the beach. It's like two cities, actually, divided by the wide Han River. On the inland side is the old yet modernized original Danang, where you'll find downtown, the train station, and the airport. And along the spectacular ocean front is, for lack of a better word, New Danang, filled with high-rise hotels, apartment buildings, trendy coffee shops, and a spectacular palm-lined beach that stretches for miles. This bridge has been an icon of Danang since the day it was completed. It's more or less what people think of when they think of Danang. And it's really a favorite place for pedestrians to walk between the downtown and the ocean side. I'm standing at about the halfway point on this bridge. And if I tilt the camera in this direction behind me, you see the downtown section of Danang. And when I swivel back in the other direction, well, the buildings you see behind me now are on the seaside. And of course the highway leading over the Dragon Bridge. This bridge, like this town, really doesn't sleep.
Speaking of sleep, there's no promotional consideration in my saying so, but I'm sleeping comfortably in the largest bed of my life at the Nat Lin Hotel, an incredible value with great views of the city center.
But the Dragon Bridge isn't the only bridge crossing the Han River. There are at least 4 major bridges, perhaps more, and 1 tunnel that lead from the downtown section to the beach side. I'm crossing one of those bridges near the north end of downtown, and even though the traffic is intense, the late afternoon golden hour weather is perfect, and it's very pleasurable to walk across this bridge. I've stepped into a supermarket simply to grab a few things that take back to my hotel room's refrigerator tonight. And particularly I'm looking for some probiotic yogurt. And voila! They have it, along with everything else that one needs. Well, before I pick it up, I may as well scoot around and look for another few desired items. Okay, so this is how it works when you go to a mall. It's called impulse buying. And in this case, it's fast food. I saw the Jollibees and I just couldn't say no. This city's beachfront, its beaches, are among the best urban beaches in the world. They're pristine, wide, white sand. Danang gets great credit for planning its growth in such a way that its beachside gets emphasized. Everything is set back off the beach. That is high-rise and mid-rise apartments and hotels. There are wide promenades, sidewalks, huge amount of planted palm trees, and of course, restaurants and places of entertainment. It really comes together in a marvelous mix, and it's no secret as to why Danang is such a magnet for both international travelers and remote workers. Just some of the fruit decorating the street along this beach promenade. It may appear as though I'm in an aquarium because there are all manner of sea creatures, fish and crustaceans, but this is merely the stock for a seafood restaurant, one of the many that dock the beach in Danang. This is making me very hungry. Looking out on this gorgeous stretch of sand, it's really hard to wrap your head around what went down at this very place 6 decades ago. This is the spot where in March of 1965, American Marines first came ashore en masse, ostensibly to protect a US-built air base nearby. That base is now Danang International Airport. But as the Vietnam War escalated, it became the busiest airfield in the world, with more than 2,000 takeoffs and landings each day. This beach, which is such an icon of, well, the good life now, was the scene of a massive military invasion, and up and down it, and in the palm trees behind it, and the mountains behind it, untold bloodshed. This was and is My Khe Beach. But to the soldiers who stormed it, it became known as China Beach. Immortalized in a novel, was later turned into a popular American television series called China Beach. Such a contrasting story to tell, considering the bloody history here.
How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
I'm very good.
Yeah. Very.
On the outskirts of the city, along the beachfront, there's an intriguing group of hills known as the Marble Mountains. And for less than $2, you can go there on a motorcycle taxi.
where there may be more comfortable ways to drive down the beach highway at Danang, but certainly no cheaper. The Marble Mountains aren't really mountains. They are a collection of 5 rather isolated karsts near the beachfront. The reason people come here primarily is to have a vantage point from which to view Danang and the beach, as well as to visit the several Buddhist temples here on the mountain. It's quite a climb, but there's a cost to everything, right? The goal here, to go to the top through, I don't know, 150 steps or so, I'm told. Well, I've come to the first of the temples. It's quite obvious that these temples aren't merely tourist attractions. They remain very much places of devotion. There's a lot up here. Besides these temples, various pagodas, the beautiful trail, and just the beauty of the landscape here. Well, I've been climbing for a while on the steps leading directly up to the highest point, and I've had a couple of people warn me already. It's very steep and very slippery at the top. Well, I've made it to the top, and it's very beautiful. This white marble is really slippery, especially headed down. I started to put away my camera. I quickly saw that that was going to be a difficult trick, and the kind gentleman held it for me while I negotiated that treacherous rock. But all's well that ends well. Well, I've entered the largest of these sacred shrines. I was not expecting anything this spectacular. Thick marble walls carved by nature within the recesses all around, capped off in the back of this cavernous space by the gigantic Buddha that you see high up on the wall. It looks like it was carved right out of the rock, but hard to know. Marble Mountain is the center of the stonecutter artisanry in this part of Vietnam. In fact, for centuries, artists have been working with this stone, providing monuments from it all over the country. These days that continues, but the marble is no longer extracted from these hills. The government has prohibited it as a conservation measure. And so now, even though much of the stonework is done nearby, the marble is shipped here from a fairly distant province of Vietnam near the Lao border. During the Vietnam War, these hills were used to hide a North Vietnamese field hospital for the longest time, which is really incredible when you think about it, considering that not far away was the primary U.S. Air base for delivering troops to Vietnam. And to the other side of it was the beach, which is, of course, heavily guarded. But it worked. The North Vietnamese managed to hide their field hospital here in these hills, more or less in plain sight. The downtown section here is really a model. It's not super large, it's not small, it's right-sized, it's extremely vibrant. And there's anything you want here, including a selection of great restaurants on many streets. And as with tonight, my final night here, I just wanted to grab something simple. I don't know, I just had a hankering for a bowl of pho. And I found this place, which I had a couple of nights ago. It's just excellent. So I've ordered up a dish of foie gras and some guava juice, freshly squeezed, which should be on its way any minute. Good. So the guava juice has come. My simple, elegant, cheap Vietnamese meal is complete, all for about $3 total, and it's delicious. So I've come down to the aforementioned promenade on the Han River on the downtown side because it's Saturday night, and every weekend on Fridays and Saturday nights in Danang there's a fireworks and water show from the Dragon Bridge. I'm at a distance from the bridge, which is where I plan to stay because I don't intend to cross over the bridge, but I'm waiting to see this fireworks show, maybe as a way to usher me out of Danang on my last evening here.